Hello, I'm Mayor Susan Seaman, and as we mark 1 year since the beginning of our first shelter-in-place order, we're looking towards the end of this pandemic. Despite the challenging environment for the past year, the city has continued to move forward with the regular business of the city while also helping our residents and businesses adapt to these unprecedented and perilous times. As I close out these weekly addresses to you, I'll spend the last 3 weeks of this month providing a report on the state of the city after what has been one of the most difficult years in recent memory. Without a doubt, the pandemic has dictated much of our activity over the past 12 months. But like most things, the ability to respond has had us relying on the quality of the people we have at the helm. This year, in the middle of the pandemic, we had an impactful change in city leadership. Miles Slattery took the role of interim city manager earlier in this year. Given Miles' long-standing position in the city, his understanding of the needs of the community, and the relationships he's developed over time with staff and partners, he provided a continuity that allowed us to move forward and focus on the challenges before us. It didn't take long before he was offered that permanent position in early December. Another key position that we filled this year is placing Kevin Roybal in the position of Chief Building Official. By filling this position, we're able to break up the incredibly huge workload of our prior Chief Building Official, who was serving that role as well as managing public works, planning, engineering, and building. Overloading somebody with work on our end rarely translates to efficiency on the consumer's end, so we hope this addition will allow capacity to develop some more customer-centered processes to get folks through their project, whether they're a mom and pop putting in an ADU on their property or a major developer. We've also seen a change in leadership on City Council. This year, council members Heidi Messner and Austin Allison both ended their terms, and they were replaced with Katie Moulton from Ward 2 and Scott Bauer from Ward 4. Besides our regular council meetings, we've been participating in strategic visioning together, which is a great opportunity to get to know them and for council and staff to get to connect on our vision for the city, something that's been more difficult this year when we don't see each other in person. I want to acknowledge that COVID has added quite a burden to all of our city staff who've continued to work to address the ongoing issues of the city as well as addressing the many new concerns brought about since the pandemic started. From the obvious first responders at EPD and Humboldt Bay Fire to the folks who work maintenance, finance, community services, IT, human resources, public works, engineering, planning, code enforcement, economic development, and all the rest, our employees have helped to keep services running and continue to develop ongoing projects while adapting to changes brought by the pandemic. While we were able to pass a budget last year that allowed us to avoid any layoffs, several staff members retired without being replaced at the onset of what was an ominous fiscal year ahead. Our staff, like many other employees across America, are working with additional burdens while being understaffed. They're doing a great job, and we're very proud of them, and we're hoping we can create more balance for them in the near future. We generally have a celebration in December to recognize employee achievements, including our retirees, but we were unable to do it this year. So I'd like to take this time to let everybody know that 48 employees celebrated anniversaries at the city in 2020. 27 celebrated 5 years, 3 celebrated 10 years, 9 celebrated 15 years. We had 4 employees celebrate 20 years and 25 years. And our principal planner, Kristen Getz, celebrated her 30th year with the city in 2020. We also saw several retirements, including Gina Roden, accounting technician, John Adams, facility maintenance superintendent, Melinda Peterson, project manager, Gretchen Ziegler, zoo director, Drake Goodale, police officer, and Ronald Harpram, police officer. Besides supporting our employees, which has been top of mind for council lately, we're always considering how to best address the needs of our citizens. Housing was a priority area for council before the pandemic, and this year has just brought more challenges to light. Here are some things that we've been working on for the past year. With the adoption of the housing element, the city selected parking lots that could be used for affordable housing developments. A request for proposals was sent out, and Link Housing was selected to develop it on all 3 lots, which will be located at 8th and G Streets, 6th and M Streets, and Sunny and Myrtle. Together, the developments will provide 107 units, both 2 and 3 bedrooms, which will be available for those who make anywhere from $30,000 to 80% of median salary. In 2020, Uplift Eureka secured permanent housing for 25 individuals, and another 8 have secured housing since 2021. Uplift Eureka works with people who have a combination of evictions, poor rental history, low income, and low credit scores. The program works using Housing First principles, but relies on landlords and property owners to make homes available. By building on existing relationships with landlords and property managers, offering landlord incentives, and highlighting past successes, Uplift has been able to secure permanent housing for folks who have previously faced substantial barriers. In addition to searching for and securing permanent housing, Uplift Eureka provides supportive services to help folks stabilize and prevent them from sliding back into homelessness. And keeping people housed has been another priority this year, and it will remain so as we work through the aftermath of this pandemic in the coming year. While the city voted for eviction moratoriums early in the pandemic, there was also a concern that renters would be postponing financial stress if rents were simply deferred. This was also a challenge for landlords who relied on that income. At that time, the city set aside $200,000 in Housing Succession Agency funding for residential assistance for past due rent and to nonprofits who supported housing. In addition, the city postponed a 5% increase in water and wastewater rates to help maintain utility costs as much as possible. The city is committed to increasing housing of all kinds, and our challenge is not limited to affordable housing. Currently, there are fewer than 120 homes on the market to purchase in Humboldt County. Potentially, because of another summer, fires in neighboring communities, and the increased potential of remote work, we're seeing more activity, an increase in housing costs, and in some cases, a lack of homes to purchase even when money's not an issue. This does impact many employers who struggle to recruit employees who can't find housing. Council members and staff are continuing to communicate with stakeholders to identify opportunities to improve market rate housing opportunities. Thank you for listening to this first State of the City report. Over the next 2 weeks, I will address a few other areas, including business and the economy, public safety, and highlights from upcoming capital improvement projects and facility plans. As I've said for a year now, the City of Eureka is continuing to work tirelessly in support of the health and well-being of our citizens, our community, and our economy during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Thank you for listening.